All right, what's up, everybody? It is us, the Dos Leprechauns, coming to you live from not Notre Dame, unfortunately. We were supposed to be out there this weekend, but some things happened that we couldn't control. And so we're here in Goodyear, Arizona in the wonderful 92-degree heat while everybody's enjoying the 72-degree weather. So if you're on campus, hope you guys are going to bring it loud, because rumor has it there's a lot of what color are they? Maroon?
Yeah,
maroon. Maroon and whatever color they are. So yeah.
White, maroon and white.
What, maroon and white. So week 2 for the Irish, week 3 for college football. Notre Dame versus Texas A&M, the rematch from last year when Notre Dame went into College Station and won. I don't know. I think this year's team for Texas A&M is not nearly as talented as last year's. What do you think?
Yeah, I 100% agree. I don't think the D-line is even close to as good as last year. I think the biggest thing about this game is the change at quarterback, in my opinion. I personally think Connor Wegman was not very good, and I think he was put on this pedestal for really no reason. And I think Marcel Reed is a better quarterback, but I think he's more prone to mistakes and stuff like that. But yeah, he's shifty. But I think Notre Dame has the defenders to be able to stop that and put a spy on him all night and not be able to let him move around untouched.
So we usually say this for kind of the end of the show, but I'm going to say that the most important player on the entire field, on defense anyways, for the Irish is going to be Drake Bowen. You talk about spying the quarterback. He's going to have to be that guy. Him and KVA, Jalen Sneed, the whole group is going to have Jaden Osbury going to have to watch that dude, because he is the definition of a mobile dual threat quarterback. So he can throw it. Talk a little bit about their receivers.
Yeah, I mean, they got 2 talented receivers. One of them, you kind of hear all about, and he's projected to go pretty high in the NFL draft, and that's Casey Concepcion. He started off the year kind of slow. He hasn't gone over 70 yards all year to start the season. He does have 2 touchdowns in each game that they've played so far, and the 2 games they have played. The leading receiver on their team, though, is going to be
Mario Craver.
Yeah, Mario Craver. He's kind of their do-it-all receiver. He's a shifty utility guy that they like to move around a lot. One guy that I was kind of shocked to not see a lot of stats for is a guy that had a pretty good game against us last year, and that's Le'Veon Moss. He was really good for the Aggies last year. I think he got kind of overshadowed by the presence of Marcel Reed last year, and he's kind of taken a backseat this year is what it kind of looks like. He only has 87 rush yards on the whole season in the 2 games that they've played. He had a good game last week, 68 yards rushing for a touchdown, but in week 1 he only had 15 yards rushing, so kind of interesting. But yeah, so I'm not really sure how they'll utilize running backs today. Kind of seems like they want Reed to kind of be the superstar that they think he can be. So yeah, he's gonna be the star player for them.
Yeah.
They're gonna need him to be the star player. So Notre Dame's got a key on him today.
Are our receivers faster than their DBs? That was from Patrick Wright.
Yes, I think so. Concepcion, if you remember from last season, he's more of like a big body receiver.
No, we're talking about our receivers faster than theirs.
Oh.
Than their DBs.
Oh yeah. I'd say they are. Yeah, I mean, you look at the game from the Miami film, like Faison he made that one screen pass, that should have been a loss of 4 or 5 yards, but we ended up getting a first down after that first drive. And, you got guys that just weren't utilized in week 1, which, we've already talked about our frustrations with that. But, Jaden Greathouse is probably our best receiver. And I think I can confidently say he's the best receiver. And if you go back and watch the Penn State game, the Georgia game, the Indiana game, like he's the best player on the field at that time, on receiving wise. Obviously J Love, he's elite, but I don't see many teams in the country keeping up with our receivers, especially because in the Ohio State game, like even what's the safety from Ohio State?
Gosh. Caleb Downs.
Yeah, Caleb Downs was even struggling a bit with Greathouse.
Yeah.
So
no, Greathouse is the guy. Faison's been Mr. Automatic. Malachi Fields is a veteran coming back, and obviously I think he really took that first turnover that he had seriously, and you saw him after that make some really clutch plays. Micah Gilbert catching one of the touchdowns from CJ. So I think that they settled in toward the end of the game, and I think we said on the post-game therapy session a couple weeks ago that there's more answers and questions than I thought there would be after a loss. Marcus Freeman is undefeated coming off a bye.
Yeah.
And last year, obviously, coming off that loss to Northern Illinois, you saw what they did to Purdue, put up like 65 points or something like that. And I really expect to see something very similar. I do think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think, but I do think they're going to come out with a chip on their shoulder. Texas A&M is a very good football team. I mean, you can't take that away from them. Really strong quarterback, good running game, very good O-line. Their D-line's very good, but their depth is lacking. We're going to have to play our best game. I mean, we've only played one game, but I think they're going to have to learn from the mistakes of Miami. Namely, run the ball with our two of the best players in the country with Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price. Every single show you've listened to leading up to this game, it's the same thing. We got to run the ball. We got to run the ball. We got to get into the hands of our playmakers. That's obvious. So I think for me, it's all about what are the intangibles that they can do, to get better. And I think one of those intangibles is you're going to have to let CJ Carr throw it. Yeah. You got to take the chains off, training wheels off, and let Carr go to work. He showed that you can trust him in some tight moments. He can thread the needle with the best of them, and I'm really excited to see what he can do. Spreading it out a little bit more, and with J Love and Jadarian Price taking some heat off of him. The O-line has to be perfect today. I mean, truly, whatever happened 2 weeks ago, that's in the past. You got to come out and get after these ferocious defensive linemen for the Aggies. Now, I don't think they're as good as they were last year with Scorton and the other guy, but they're still very talented. They'll have Cassius Howell, I think is his name. He's the guy that you're going to need to keep an eye on. Their linebackers are so-so. Their secondary is pretty decent, but yeah, offensively, it's like their strengths from last year are now our strengths versus what their strengths were last year. Now, I don't know what I'm saying. Bottom line is I think they got a lot better on offense. We got a lot better on offense as well. Yeah. Let's see. I agree, but Greathouse didn't touch the ball. Reardon was not consistent. That's also from Patrick Ray. Yeah, Reardon had his moments. He had that big catch from CJ that set us up for a score. But I agree. He probably wasn't satisfied with his game that day. So yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. Let's look at their schedule, the A&M schedule. I mean, they obviously haven't played anybody. They started the season off with a game at both of their games have been at home. First against University of Texas. I don't know. What's UTSA? Who is that? University of Texas Southern Alabama? I don't know. Anyway, UTSA. Apologies. And they beat them 47-24. Utah State University, they beat 44-22. So obviously they're scoring, they scored 6 touchdowns in each game, or 5 touchdowns in the first game, but they've given up 20 points to 2, let's be honest, subpar teams. I mean, come on.
I think one of the biggest things, there's 2 biggest things that I want to talk about those games. So in the first game, the biggest score we got to look at is 21-10. 21-10 was the result after the first half was over in that first game against UTSA. And then, they kind of pulled through at the end. And then I wouldn't look too much at the Utah State game. They had their backups in the second half of the third quarter and the rest of the fourth quarter. So I wouldn't look too much at that game. Another thing is they've allowed an average of 178 yards rushing so far.
Wow.
They gave up like 278 or something like that in the first game. And then second game, 78 rush yards. And I don't – No disrespect to the UTSA running back, but I've never heard of him. So, and I think the Texas A&M defense has heard of Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price.
Oh yeah, no, you got to know. I have a great deal of respect for Mike Elko, the A&M coach. He, defensive coordinator for the Irish for 1 year before he got the chance to be a head coach at Duke, and then now Texas A&M. Love Mike Elko. He's going to have that team ready to go. He knows that. Mike Denbrock is feeling the heat of not giving the ball to our 2 playmakers in Price and Love. So they're going to be keying in on him. Also that we've got a guy making his second start, his first ever start at home. So Elko's going to have this defense ready, and that's something that I know Denbrock has been. We've had 2 weeks to prepare. I really would think that Denbrock has been an OC for over 20 years, has coached a Heisman Trophy winner, has coached at the highest levels under the highest pressure. I really just have to believe that he's going to be ready for whatever Elko is going to bring in this game. I'm excited. I'm also excited to see what our D-line can do. I think you started to see toward the end of the game against Miami, they started to get loose a little bit, get in the backfield. Boubacar Traore obviously had a great game. You started to see some flashes from Jared Dawson in the inside. I think today I really want to see, and you're again broken record, Bryce Young. I want to see him just let him go make plays, let him get aggressive and go hit the quarterback, go put some pressure on Reed, but obviously keep him inside, because if we lose contain, that dude's going to run for a 70-yard touchdown. I'm telling you right now, we lose contain, that's going to be 6.
Yeah, I think I was talking with somebody about why Bryce Young didn't play that much 2 weeks ago, and I honestly think it was more of like a quote-unquote punishment thing. One of the plays that I saw watching the Miami game back, he was for some reason inside. He was up on the guard. So I don't know if that was, he wasn't lined up correctly or what was going on, because after that play, he wasn't in the rest of the game. So I feel like it could have been something like that.
Yeah, maybe that. Maybe they just felt like the moment was too big for him for a little bit, because I thought I saw him in toward the end of the game, but maybe not. But either way, you've got, Jordan Botello looks like he's full go. Josh Burnham, Bryce Young, Bubakar Traore, Junior, not going to try to pronounce his last name, Talamaka. The linebackers, I really think, again, Snead, KVA, and Drake Bowen are going to have monster games today. I truly believe that. I think Bowen as a captain is somebody that I think he's upset. I think he's pissed off, and I think that bodes well for this game plan and for the Irish overall. Got John DeVore here, Go Irish from Tennessee. What's up, John? Thanks for joining. If you guys see any of our dudes on the ground over there, we've got Wayne Smith and Patrick McCormick from Dose Leprechauns there. Big shout out. Hopefully they're listening at the tailgate to Irish JTL. He's hosting the tailgates for us for every Notre Dame home game, so that's really fun. And yeah, just everybody for hanging out there at the tailgate. Sounds like it's been a lot of fun. For the game, I'll be honest, I think we kind of talked about this beforehand that we wanted to get this off our chest, but if this is another situation where like an Ohio State a few years ago, or Nebraska back in the day, or Georgia a few years ago, where you see as much, if not more, of the opposing team's colors, that's going to be really disappointing. And I know we all feel that way, but man, if you're a Notre Dame season ticket holder and you're just trying to unload those tickets, call your boys. We'll either take them or we'll send them to somebody that deserves them, a first responder, like we tried to give the ticket away to today. We had an extra ticket on our hands since we couldn't go. We couldn't give that thing away. Like we wanted to give it to a first responder, and it was one ticket, so it was probably a little bit more difficult. But we'll eat that. We'll eat that before selling it to some bum A&M fan. So we, went extra lengths to make sure that we try to get it into the hands of somebody that's full Irish, but didn't work out. So if you happen to be watching this and you're like 5 minutes away from campus and you want to go to the game, let us know. We got a ticket for you, but you have to be an Irish fan. If you're an A&M fan, you can go watch outside like Rudy had to a few years when he was over there. They're already saying that there is way more Aggies. Friggin' fantastic.
I just don't understand.
I don't either.
I'll never get it, because there's so many Notre Dame groups that you can easily go into. Hey, I have 2 tickets, or hey, I need a ticket.
Yep.
It's so sad, because you got these multimillionaires, billionaires, thousandaires, whatever, that are selling off their season tickets, and for what? For a little profit?
They're already filthy rich.
The thing that I don't get is that it's not like you're selling tickets because Notre Dame's bad. You're selling tickets just to make a profit. It's so lame. So lame.
Yeah, it's really disappointing. And Patrick Wright saying that they're already saying there's way more Aggies. Yeah, we've heard that there's a whole bunch of maroon and white, or they're doing a whiteout, whatever. That's, you really would hope that in a night game, a freaking night game at Notre Dame Stadium, number 8 team in the country against number 16 team in the country, defend South Bend like we always talk about. So it's our responsibility as fans to try to get in there and get these student athletes ready to go and get them fired up. We got the gold towels out there, make some noise. And if one of the ushers tells you to sit down, tell them to kick rocks, man. I mean, you're there to create an environment. And I hope that Notre Dame game day staff starts to adopt that policy, and they start to say, hey, let's let them get a little rowdy. There's going to be beer sold. So if you need to drink a couple beers to get, some liquid courage, then so be it. Just don't fight anybody. I will say that I know firsthand that he just said is the truth. These guys and others are the most generous and Irish fans. Keep it Irish. Oh, well, yeah, of course. No, that's what's up. If there's somebody that we can help, we get free tickets given to us quite often, usually not for this big of a game. But if we do and we can't make it, we are 100% trying to give it to, a first responder or a military active veteran, somebody that can really use it. Maybe somebody that's never been to a game and they just moved to the area. Let's get somebody down there that's going to be gold and blue through and through. I mean, it's not hard, guys. Let's see, Nate, what else you got on the game? What do you got on their defense? We haven't heard much about that so far.
Yeah, I mean, their defense.
I know they got the Tyrion York is another guy. He's one of their defensive end. It seems like they're a defensive end factory lately over there.
Yeah.
He's a guy that I think will be playing on Sundays, probably as a rookie. So that's going to be an issue, not an issue. That's going to be a challenge for either Anthony Knapp or Emil Wagner, who I truly think both those guys are going to have major bounce back games. Yeah. Those two are not the kind of guys that are just like, oh, dang, I got my butt kicked. You know what? I'm just going to go take this one on the chin. No, they're going to come out pissed off. One of the things that I found interesting is all the different podcast groups out there that have, access to practice time and all that kind of stuff. You didn't hear a whole lot about like schematics or who was getting reps or who wasn't getting reps. Mm-hmm. I love that personally. Don't give these guys don't tip your hand. Don't let them know who's having a good week, bad week. And if I think the less you hear, the better. You know, 100%. if somebody was having a bad week, if Sharuth was having a bad week, or if Knapp was having a bad week and it was just kind of laying back on what happened, I think you would have heard more about that than if not, and they were having dynamic weeks and they're like, oh crap, these guys are about to get their butts kicked.
Yeah, and there's really no reason for position staffs to tip their hand, as you said,
for sure.
Because in this era of social media, like the players are going to see that. You know, they're not just going to be like, oh, I didn't see anything, so I'm not going to worry about it. That's going to be in the back of their head during every single rep. So that's another thing. So defense-wise for Texas A&M, they have seven total sacks on the season. They've allowed an average of 170 passing yards. That was like close to right around the average that CJ was at.
Wait, how many?
170.
Oh yeah, he was at he had 220, I believe, overall.
Yeah, so it's close. But like I said, they have given up a total of 140 on average rushing yards. So just like we keep saying, like everybody keeps saying, gotta give the ball to Love, give it to Price, give it to any of your playmakers. One thing I did want to say, this is a tweet from Jack Sobel. It was earlier this week. It says Notre Dame missed 12 tackles in week 1 at Miami. In Texas A&M's week 1 win over UTSA, the Aggies missed 19 tackles.
Wow. So that is honestly, that's a huge stat from Sobel. That means that if J Love or Jadarian Price, Aeneas Williams, whoever gets loose, good chance they're going to be able to break one. Same with Greathouse, Faison, etc. Faison. You say Faison, I say tomato. Hello. Anyway, so yeah, that's a very telling stat right there. The other stat that I think is very interesting is I think I read that A&M is one of the worst teams in the country in getting off the field on third down.
Yeah.
So that's something that you're going to have to think about. If it's 4th and 1, if it's 4th and inches, are you going for it? If it's 3rd and 4, one of those kind of danger zone areas, are you going for it? Are you going to throw it? Are you going to run it? Oh, one more. Denbrock, I know you're probably listening to this podcast. So just a quick thing, for the love of all that is holy, no more quarterback design runs.
Yeah.
You're going to get CJ killed. It may not be this game. It may not be the next game. But at some point, some idiot linebacker is going to step up and try to get a highlight reel and pop him. And I love Kenny Minchie, but you've developed so much into CJ at this point. He's getting his rhythm. Please, no quarterback design runs unless it's like 4th and a half an inch on the goal line. Then maybe consider just a little chirp. But no, please, for the love of God, no design runs. He's not Riley Leonard.
I would much rather see wide receiver screens that people complain about 24/7 than QB design runs.
Yes,
especially from CJ Carr.
But again, you got these players that can make plays in the perimeter.
Yeah.
Throw it to J Love, and let him make a play. Throw it to Jadarian Price. Have both of those guys back there. I don't know. That's a novel concept.
I know they tried it once last
one snap. They had both Jadarian Price and J Love in the backfield. You got to have those guys out there
every single play.
Just about every single play. Split backs. No, it blew me away. But we can go back to that a million times. Real quick, going back to CJ Carr's numbers, I went and I watched his game. I watched quite a bit of the game versus Miami again, and I just can't say enough about this dude's poise. Mm-hmm. Hostile environments. I'll be honest, I downplayed the home environment that Miami was going to create, but they definitely created a home environment. We got to be honest. They got to hand it to them.
They had more fans at their home opener than the Dolphins did.
Of course,
and the Dolphins will.
That goes without saying. Yeah, 100%. And I think that CJ's poise and standing in the pocket was collapsing left and right. He stayed in there, or he moved a little bit and made some throws in space. That's what I'm looking for today. When the pocket starts to crumble, make a play, be a quarterback, be quarterback one, make a play. He ended up throwing, his total numbers were 19 of 30, 63.3 completion percentage for 221 yards, 2 tutties, and a pick, which again, that pick could have been blamed on any number of things. And then the rushing stats. So he carried the ball 11 times for 16 yards and a touchdown. One of the things, and the long of that was 13. So that shows you that last sack that happened, I mean, that knocked off, 5-6 of his yards right there. So some of the sacks, he could have had over 40 yards rushing, but that's not giving Mike Denbrock any advice. We're not doing these runs.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, we can go back on that. One thing, let's see, Love needs the ball more. Let's put this up here. Sean Grant's watching from Lakeland, Florida. How you doing, Sean? Thanks for watching. Love needs the ball more, and Greathouse needs some touches. Agree on the QB run plays. He is no Riley Leonard. No, he's not, and he doesn't need to be Riley Leonard. Just like Riley Leonard last year didn't need to be CJ Carr. We knew what we were getting with Riley Leonard. He was going to run the ball. He's going to throw it, potentially maybe throw it 5-10 yards, and somebody's going to make a play, and that's what was happening. CJ is the guy that can stretch the field, take a shot, play action of Malachi Fields, play action of Greathouse to start the game. Why the heck not, right? So yeah, I'm with you, Johnny. We got to see more. We've got to get Greathouse the ball more. We've got to get Love the ball more. It's a broken record at this point. You can't think that guys getting paid as much as Chris Ash and Mike Denbrock are dumb enough, and I'm sorry to say it, but are dumb enough to go into this same exact game plan they had last time, because clearly it didn't work. Now, again, we lose by 3 points on the road in the first game of the season with a first-time quarterback. I think there's a lot to be said for that. And Miami has proven they're pretty good. Last time I checked, they were beating South Florida, who's no slouch, by, I think, 14. So clearly Miami is for real-ish. I mean, we got to hope they're for real-ish, because if not, then we got beat by a crap team, and who knows what's going to happen. If you haven't had a chance, please check out Nate's new weekly segment. Gosh, I am struggling today, guys. I'm sorry. His weekly segment is called Future Foe Watch, FFW, so like fast forward. He goes and checks out each game that we have coming up and how those teams did against their opponent. I'm getting a little bit concerned, I'm not going to lie, about some of the teams that we play. I mean, I hate to have to say this, and this is going to kind of get back to a bigger point, which is this game, in my opinion, for the playoff conversation is a must-win. It gets easier after this, but this game has to be won in order for us to be taken seriously in late November when they start making those decisions on who makes the playoffs.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So I just want to kind of say, because this was on my head when we started, this game can very easily look like the Louisville game from last year. I think, Notre Dame won a few games before that Louisville game, but, the whole country was saying, is Notre Dame for real? Is Notre Dame for real? They're playing these terrible teams. They lost to NIU, blah, 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 So, it can be the Louisville game. Notre Dame was up 2 scores in that Louisville game for the garbage time touchdown by Louisville.
True.
So it can easily turn into that. Notre Dame has a talent advantage. I'm going to go on record in saying this. Every single team Notre Dame plays this year, I will still include Miami on this list. They are more talented than.
100%.
More talented. And they have to use that talent. It's just the talent is right there.
Yep.
Just use it.
What's crazy is when you think about the talent gap, but then you look at you got A&M, then you go into Purdue, and then a very, in my opinion, scary game going to Arkansas. Yeah. We'll see how they do against Ole Miss today, but that's a scary game to me because that quarterback is very, very talented. Taylon Green, he's very, very talented. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be interesting. Pitt is currently tied up with West Virginia, so they're going to be pretty good. They have a good quarterback. The game there right now after A&M that scares the absolute crap out of me is USC, and I hate having to say that. But we'll see how they do today against Purdue. Purdue obviously is not great, and they should not be too much of a test for USC. But if USC comes out and stomps them like they've stomped their first 2 opponents, Lemon and Lane are 2 of the best receivers in the country, and they are very, very good. So SC's got me a little jittery right now, guys, and I absolutely hate to say that. Patrick Wright says he's very scared of the revenge game with Syracuse and Jelly. No, I don't see that one going real well for them. And Jelly's fine. He threw like 4 tutties today and 400 yards, but it was against Colgate.
That's right. Oh,
sorry, Colgate. I mean, I brushed my teeth with Colgate, but I didn't know they had a team. Let's be real. Let's see. Johnny Self says, off the subject, but love that hat. Where you all get that at? My wife is going to kill me, but you can't have enough hats. Yeah, I got this hat right here. I got, probably 7 years ago on campus, and literally can't find it anywhere now. It's an Under Armour Irish, or what do you call it? Shamrock. It's fitted. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, I agree with you, Johnny. You can never have enough hats. You need one for each day of the week. And then aside from that, you need one for each outfit. So I totally feel you on that. Patrick Wright had another great comment here. What can Marcus do in a whole program sense to get to the next level? I think he's already done what he can do to get to the program to the next level. I mean, he's recruiting like a boss. We're getting some of the blue chippers, the 4 or 5 stars that we didn't get in the past at every position, not just defense. The quarterback position, I feel like, is set for the next, 5-6 years with, with Gerard coming in. I really like him, Teddy Gerard. I think that he's got us in a position right now where the Irish have everything they need. You've got Pete Bavacqua, the AD, who is completely supportive of getting this team to that next level. So I think he's doing what he needs to do. I think this kind of game today is what's going to really set us apart. Is it all the same old Notre Dame where they get bounced, they have all this preseason hype, and then they have a dud like they did against Miami, and then they come out and get beat by A&M, and then they lose a couple more games, and we're playing in the Tostitos Pop-Tarts Bowl or whatever you want to, the Camping Bowl, who knows? The Pop-Tarts Bowl. So we got to change the narrative, and I think this is a great game to do that at. Last year, they changed the narrative by winning 3 playoff games. So can Notre Dame win the big one? Obviously, they can. Coach Freeman always seems to have his teams rise to the occasion for these big games. So that's why I don't feel near as nervous as I thought I would for this one. Still a very good football team with A&M. Still a lot of questions on was it a momentary lapse? Was it we have some weaknesses, or what was it? It's really hard to say.
I honestly think that losing by 3 is probably the biggest indicator that this team is a good team.
I think you're right.
I feel comfortable saying.
I think you're right.
We're in that game.
Yep.
If the Miami misses that field goal, we're not having this conversation. We're talking about, okay, is Notre Dame going to get to 2-0 tonight?
Yeah, right.
It's a serious conversation. And we're not talking about O-line play. We're not talking about how we didn't get the ball to J Love.
Yep.
It's a completely different story if you miss that kick. So.
Spot on. And I think another thing about that is that I think it says a lot about Freeman and the coaching staff in general and the team and the leadership that they didn't lay down. I mean, we were down 14 at one point, and I think previous teams by a previous coach that will not be named probably would have laid down, and that would have been a blowout. Let's be honest.
Oh, yeah.
We saw what happened in Miami the last time when the friggin' turnover chain. That is probably, besides the Bama game in 2021, is probably my least favorite game I've ever watched as a Notre Dame fan. It just was disgusting. Everything about it. Anyway, I'm not going to go there. But my point is, I think Coach Freeman and his squad and the leaders on this team have this team in a position where they're not going to just sit there and be like, oh, darn it, we lost. No, they're pissed. Yeah. They know that this is their opportunity to go out there and really prove something to the nation and say last year was not a fluke. Last year was the beginning of a very impressive run that we're about to go on here. So Mark with Glasses, one thing real quick before you guys, if you're not following Mark with Glasses on Twitter or YouTube, go follow him right now. He makes the best hype videos, hands down, on the market. They're like, he doesn't charge you $5 to get behind a paywall or any of that kind of crap. Just badass videos. They're sweet. I share them all the time. Great dude. So go follow Mark with Glasses. But his comment was, we get back on track tonight and it starts at the line of scrimmage. Could not agree more, Mark. I mean, with the guys that we have on both sides of the line of scrimmage, there's absolutely no reason we don't dictate this entire game. Yeah. I still believe very strongly in all 5 of those dudes on the D line, on the O line, and whether it's 4 or 3, 4 guys, Viper, whatever, on the D line. I think that we're more athletic than a lot of the teams we're going to play. We're stronger than a lot of the teams we're going to play, and we're bigger than a lot of the teams we're going to play. Miami has, again, full disclosure. Hey, what is it? Freezing cold tweets right here. Freezing cold takes. I didn't think their O-line was going to be that good. I thought they were going to be good. I didn't think they were going to be that good. So that's on me. And that's obviously on the coaching staff too for underrating them maybe a little bit, not scheming better. But from a D-line perspective, from an O-line perspective, their D-line, I mean, Ruben Bain, to me, one of the best defensive players in the country right now. He's on fire. The dude, whether he's making the headlines with all the sacks and all that kind of stuff, he is creating havoc every single snap, it seems like. So credit to those guys. It would be frigging incredible if by some strange luck we end up in the playoffs and end up matched up with Miami somehow. I truly, truly believe that'll be a different game. Let's see. Ace Dillard, on Facebook says, let's try this one. I'm nervous. Wasn't up until about an hour ago. Elko also wants us bad. Got him at Duke too. His quarterback beat him at home last season. We have to win this one, and it's at our house. Yeah, for sure, Ace. And that goes back to the whole home field advantage thing. hopefully you guys are going to bring it, because it does sound like, even just a few minutes ago, one of our buddies sent a video, and there's a lot of maroon in that stadium, guys. Disappointing. Let's get after it tonight. Let's see. Mark with glasses again. No coach in the country has more ranked wins in the country than Freeman has been a coach. 14 ranked wins, nobody. And we get another one tonight. I love Mark's confidence. If Mark's confident, then I'm pretty confident too. He says, thanks for the shout out. No, absolutely, man. We love you. You just doing an incredible job. LSU needs to go down tonight. That's from Patrick Wright. I was just tapping Nate to tell him to check out our TV in here. As I was kind of talking, I saw there was a scrum right before, as they were warming up, between LSU and Florida. So surprising that would happen with a team coached by that one guy. So, yeah, that's going to be an interesting game, LSU and Florida. I'd love to see Florida win just to create some massive havoc, but I think LSU probably takes it to them. If you guys aren't watching, there's some interesting scores right now. It's 28-27, Tennessee in the fourth with 14 minutes left against Georgia. So it's some pretty good football today. There'd be what was the game we watched? Georgia Tech. Yeah, Georgia Tech and Clemson was a really great game. Georgia Tech won on a walk-off field goal. I would prefer our game not be that close, but it probably will be. I've seen a lot of our fans and followers and everything putting score predictions of like 31-17 and 31-10. Not going to happen. This thing's going to be, what's your score?
I think I was 31-17.
You're nuts. I think we win 31-28, like I've been saying. I think it's going to be very, very close. I think it's going to come down to like a field goal. I think if we can get a turnover late and then maybe go up a full score, and then they have to rush to try to kick a field goal, and then we get the ball in our hands to end the game. That's kind of how I see this going down. I think it's going to be some big plays on both sides. I think you're going to see a couple turnovers on each side, but whoever has the most turnovers, whoever wins the turnover differential is going to win the game. So that's going to do it for us. Pre-game show here with Dos Leprechauns every single Saturday before the game. We got about just under an hour before kickoff for Notre Dame takes on A&M at the house that Rockney built. Shout out to everybody watching. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you guys. We'll be back no matter what afterwards, either for therapy or for some celebration. Hopefully it's celebration this time, because I don't know if my heart can handle another sad evening after a loss, especially waiting 2 weeks after having waited 100 or 200 and whatever odd days. So let's have some fun tonight. Let's get after it. We believe in these boys. The boys are back. It's time to ship it up to Boston. That was the worst outro ever. Anyways, go Irish, beat A&M. We'll see you guys in a few hours.